Thank you. I think they've said it all, so I'm not sure what more I can add, but I would try to see if I can interject a few little points here that may resonate with you all. So I'm from the northwest suburbs, Brooklyn Park in particular. We're based out in Brooklyn Park. I'm with a very small organization, as small as organizations get, I guess, in Brooklyn Park. But I think I'm proud to say that even we a small organization, we have been able to do some good work, and we've been able to gain some attention within the community we serve and within the larger community, the powers that be, folks that run things. So part of what we do is that our work we have three broad focus of what we do. We work around educational equity and capacity building. So we do a lot of work with the RCU school district, for example, the school district in that area, the dominant school district in that area. And we work with North Hennepin Community College and with Hennepin Technical College, so a lot of the educational institutions around there. A lot of our work around educational equity is focused on the school district. We have a large number of minority students in the RCO school district, for example. And so the school district now is pushing for some plans that we think are like racially isolating students. So you have pockets of students in some high-performing schools in the area, and then the other schools like Northview Junior High School, for example, you have a lot of the students that are struggling. So we have a huge achievement gap issue. I think Northview was on the chopping block for a number of years here, but is now trying to turn things around. So we work, work with the district and work with a number of groups within the area, trying to engage parents to get involved with their students' education and all of that. Another issue that we work on relative to equity is health equity. So we do a lot of work around health disparities. But we came up with a plan that it's been financed by the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, and Hennepin County Community Health Department. So there is a section of Brooklyn Park, as you know, the northwest suburbs is actually the new frontier. It's the most diverse part of the state, actually. I'm not sure if you all are aware of that. But Brooklyn Center is 5149. It's the only minority city in the state. But if you were to look at the representation, the elected officials there, it will give you a completely different picture. Even the folks that work at City Hall will give you a completely different picture. Similar story in Brooklyn Park. Brooklyn Park is the sixth largest city in the state of Minnesota. We have about, the population is about 50-50, but officially it's about 48% of minority to 50% majority population. But Brooklyn Park has less than 2% people of color that work at the city and zero on the city council. So we have been looking at groups outside of Brooklyn Park to the chagrin of the folks that live in Brooklyn Park to come and help us out. Because why do we need help? We need a tremendous amount of help out in Brooklyn Park. The organization that I work with have been trying to build relationships and build bridges all across the board. We're relatively new. I think you can tell from my accent that it's not from this area, and it's certainly not from this country. But so we're relatively new. We represent a pretty new group of folks. But our target, the primary target audience is African immigrants and African Americans and other minority groups. Okay? But so for a number of these folks who work in multiple jobs, I know we hear this story a lot, and they're supporting families back home. I have all my relatives back home too as well. Back home for me is Liberia in West Africa. So folks, they're running back and forth here and there. We have immigration challenges too as well. So there are a lot of other issues, and so for a number of these folks, like, why do I come to the table? So for some of us who have been, fortunate to work with mainstream institutions like the U of M and and other places, we've been trying. We know what those what needs to happen, and we know some of the deficits that exist in a number of these mainstream organizations, and so we try to serve as a bridge to connect our community, the larger minority community, with a lot of these mainstream institutions, and say, okay, you guys, how can you help us? We have been able to identify the needs, but how do you help us to deliver to our folks? So that's part of the challenge that we're having, trying to get folks to understand the importance, and to get the other side to understand why it is important to have everybody at the table. I had all of these folks at the table. It makes business sense. It makes a lot of sense for developing the well-being of our area. So the project that we're working on relative to health equity is, so we identify a subsection of Brooklyn Park that we call the Zine Avenue Corridor. And the Zine Avenue Corridor is from, if you know Brooklyn Park, is from 85th Avenue, Brooklyn Park, all the way down to 63rd. So 2.5 mile, it's a 2.5 mile radius, 1 mile east, 1 mile west of the city from 85th to 63rd. That part of Brooklyn Park has been identified as high needs area based on census data, based on data from ACS, CDC data, data from Hennepin County. So the average income in that part of Brooklyn Park is only $10,000. Household income is $10,000. But in that area, we have a high concentration of apartment complexes, one-bedroom apartment complexes, multiple family units too as well. The health outcome, 3 out of every 10 kids in the Zine area corridor within Brooklyn Park is obese or overweight. So very poor access to food and to fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's a food desert. We have a Hennepin County clinic, HCMC clinic that just opened up there. So we have all of these different health issues. So some of the things that we're doing, so we're working with, been working with Hennepin County and try to work with the city in saying, okay, we have identified, we came up with some initiatives sanctioned by CDC and Hennepin County Public Health Department as intervention to help to improve health outcomes in this Zine area corridor. Healthy cooking, healthy eating, access to the farmers market. So we're pushing some policy changes there to relocate the farmers market, because if you know Brooklyn Park is stratified, heavily stratified. Okay, so we have Brooklyn Park North and Brooklyn Park South. The north is where you have all of the $500,000 in affluent homes. The south is where you have these heavy, the heavy concentration of apartment complexes. And so we provided them with the data. So we will let the data speak for us. We're not just going to tell. This is not a race thing, right? And so we brought the data backed up by CDC. You can't get any better than the CDC, right? As far as health issues are concerned. And Hennepin County Public Health Department and say, here are the issues. We need to push some programs. We need to relocate the farmers market, for example, into this high needs area to give people access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay, to try to improve health, health outcomes in this area. Have high rates of diabetes, hypertension, you name it, across the board. And so pushing farmers market, community garden, and all of that. And we're receiving tremendous pushback from city council. And so we're thinking, say, okay, this is something that we think that you're going to embrace. And so why is that? It's because we believe we don't have someone at the table that can speak for us and that can clearly articulate what our issues are. The last issue that we're working with, and we're getting, if you think the health disparity issue is getting pushed back, you wait until you hear this other issue. So we're working with Target, and Target, the reason is Target, the Botano Transitway ends at Target campus. And Target is heavily benefiting from it. It's getting a lot of public subsidy to build its northern campus in Brooklyn Park that will be coming online in the next couple of months here. And trying to say, okay, Target, you are relocating 6,000 jobs. How many jobs are you creating for people in Brooklyn Park? So how can you come to the table so and we can enter into some sort of community benefits agreement to see how the folks are going to benefit locally from what you're bringing here? And Target doesn't want to hear it. And being aided by city council folks to say, we are trying to shake down Target, we're trying to look for handouts at Target, calls out all kinds of names, push us all over the place, and this is happening because we don't have folks at the table. So what we need is for you all to please help us. Brooklyn Park is a new frontier. We have a tremendous amount of issues there, but we just arrived on these shores, okay, or in these parts, and we don't understand the inner workings of the system. This is we talk about equity. This is purely human rights, equity, all of it all roll up together. We need your help. We need your help to help us to clearly articulate what our needs are, to help tell our story to the folks that are there that say they are representing us, but they clearly aren't. I'll stop there.